Right, on the line talking to John Gallagher from Raven. John, thanks for taking my call.
It's very good to be here, mate. Good stuff.
It's good to have you on. Now, since 1974, tell us about that time.
Oh, geez. And I was still wearing nappies, I think, at that point. We just crawled out of the womb, and me and my brother decided, like idiots, to form a rock and roll band, as we were huge fans of The Quo and Slade and Sweet and Deep Purple and, you name it. We cut our teeth playing the working men's clubs in the northeast of England, basically pint of beer and a fight, please, that kind of stuff. We used to get requests with on the coasters, on the beer mats, and quite often there were 2-word requests, but we soldiered on and turned into a 3-piece very late 79 and got Mr. Rob Hunter in on drums, and it was just myself, my brother Mark and Rob, and that's really when it all started as far as, coming up with our own sound. Unusually, we were a 3-piece and still are. And that kind of dictates a lot of what's going on. There's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of responsibility. But we love it and wouldn't have it any other way. And, of course, from there we did our first single, ended up playing with Ozzy and Motorhead and Whitesnake and you name it. Came to the States first time in 82, moved over the States 84, and blah, blah, blah.
Just backtrack just a bit. So the first time, like most Australians would have heard of Raven, was in the new wave of British heavy metal. Now, you were there. Did you see that coming? Was there any indicators that something like that was going to happen?
Only with hindsight. At the time, not really. I mean, there was a lot of, when punk rock came, it kind of like pissed off a lot of people. And they just said, I want to hear the music I like, and maybe it's getting a little harder to hear it. I'll play it myself. So there was very much a DIY type of thing. So you had, where we were was 250 miles from London, which, it's pretty much like starting a band in the Northern Territories and all your record companies are in Sydney or something. It's like the other side of the earth. There was not a hope in hell of anything ever happening. It was purely, we love to play. And that's pretty much our philosophy. We do it because we love it. So, strangely enough, there was a local record company in Newcastle who put out a single by a heavy metal band called the Tigers of Pantang, who we knew well, who, lived a few miles away. They sent it to one of the music magazines in London, and they loved it. And that was all at the same time as Iron Maiden coming out and Angel Witch and Samson and what have you down there. So there was just a groundswell of bands who had nothing to do with each other, weren't listening to each other, and they had very little in common other than passion and energy. And, some guy at Sounds magazine just termed it, hey, it's the new wave of British heavy metal. So it wasn't a situation where you had to be a card-carrying member of the club, it just kind of happened.
Were you aware, or were you not aware of what was happening down in London, say, at the time? Are these two bases just sort of growing independently, concurrently at the same time?
Yeah, we saw it, again in Sounds magazine. They would say, oh yeah, it's Iron Maiden, what's this? And on the Friday Rock Show, got to hear a couple of tracks. Oh, these guys are pretty cool. And got to see Def Leppard play their first. They played a bunch of club dates and like So Young, but their first EP was really good. Mm-hmm. And there was just this feeling that wow, something could happen here. And when we did our first single, and there was a radio DJ called John Peel, who was famous for just once a week, he would just play new music. Mm. He didn't care if he hated it or loved it. It was just like, here's this band Raven. And Ozzy Osbourne was listening. He goes, wow, I love that. I want those guys to play with me. So we ended up playing 4 dates on the first Blizzard of Oz tour. So it was very, very organic at the time. Just, Gary Moore dropped out of some shows with Whitesnake. We ended up getting the gigs. We ended up playing a gig with Iron Maiden down at the Marquee Club in London. And, it was like a whirlwind, from 6 months before nothing to, we're out there playing with an incredibly well-known act. So it was definitely, it was definitely interesting times.
Do you ever look back and wonder how you survived?
I do that constantly. I mean, just the fact that we are here, and this is our, was it 45th? This is going to be our 45th year as a band. That just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So we're very, very, very humbled and very blessed to be able to do what we do, to enjoy what we're doing, and to have people enjoy what we're doing. So we never lose track of that. It never gets old, and we never get jaded on that at all.
Right, now you mentioned moving over to the US. When was that? And did it go as planned?
Well, it was just one of those things. We'd played a few dates in 82. We came over and toured in 83 and had this young band no one had ever heard of called Metallica opening up for us.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they've done quite well for themselves, I think. And we came back in 84, and basically the idea was to tour until we got a record deal and a good agent deal, which took all year. And, we went home for Christmas, got our visas redone and came back. And basically we were living in America. It's the way it worked out. And we had a major deal with Atlantic, which was kind of horrible and kind of set us back a lot. There was a lot of pressure to be commercial. And one of the albums in particular was very commercial, and we basically rebelled against that and kicked back and started just saying, I'd rather do music I enjoy and be stone broke and living on the streets than having to be the dog with the lipstick and the freaking spiky collar on, parading around like a clown. So we ended up kicking back, doing our own thing. Our drummer Rob left, and then we got Joe Hasselvander in, and all of a sudden we were in the 90s, and it was tough times for metal, but we just stuck it out,
Now, we mentioned, the longevity of the band before. Now, you mentioned Joe joining. He was with the band for like 30 years, so you had a stable lineup basically for 30 years.
Yeah.
He had a heart attack, had to leave?
Yeah, he had a heart attack back in May of 2017, and I think it's somebody upstairs was moving pieces around. It was the best thing for him, because God forbid he didn't have the heart attack and 2 days later been on stage with us and had the heart attack. That would have been devastating. And also, he was very lucky when he had the heart attack. He was like about 2 minutes from a hospital, so he was able to get right in. Imagine being stuck on stage in Chicago. That would have been a nightmare. But he was done. He didn't want to be on the road. And we wanted to up it. We wanted to do more. He'd be complaining, why are you booking more dates? You're going to kill me. I'm too old for this. So it's worked out. I mean, Joe's an incredibly talented guy. And he's obviously going to continue doing his solo stuff, which is like more of a doom thing, but it's very, very well constructed. It's great music. So I know he's working on stuff right now. So that won't stop. He just physically can't go out there and beat the crap out of the drums for an hour and a half, But he's an astonishingly good guitar player. He plays everything. So there'll be more music coming out of Mr. Hasselvander, I'm sure.
Now, you had to have a few drummers fill in the gaps on tours, but you've got
Mike Heller. He's a hella good drummer.
I can't even read my own writing.
That's my problem usually. So we had a few guys fill in, definitely. Yeah, we had a guy who rehearsed with us for 4 hours before that first Chicago date. Jimmy Mess did a great job. And then we had 3 dates in the Northeast, and Mike turned up. We talked for half an hour, and he played a full show. I mean, he had it charted out. It was like unbelievable. And we're like, why are you playing this like this? And he goes, well, I'm playing it like the records. I'm like, oh, we kind of hyped everything up since then. Play everything a little faster and go crazier. Really? Yeah. And then that's how we hit it off. And you could tell that this was a guy who liked to improvise and liked to push it in every way possible. And we had a couple of guys to fill in the short European tour we had coming up, but we just said to Mike, when we're back, let's talk. And we got Mike in after that short European tour and did like 5 or 6 festivals, did a 50-day US tour, and then went out and did like 70, 80 dates in Europe. And, we haven't looked back. It's amazing. We've never had one rehearsal, and we've done about 200 shows.
Right, now coming up is something I'd never thought I would be able to say in my lifetime, but Raven are coming to Australia. How did this come about?
Well, we've been pushing people for a long time, and my good friend Mr. Johnny Z, who used to manage us way back in the day, we were talking and just saying, yeah, I'm trying to get a hold of Australia, and he mentioned this guy's named Doug to talk to, and they were all on board. They wanted to put something together, put a package together, and we're like, yeah, I don't care. And it just turns out that it's great friends. We're great friends with Girlschool. We opened for them back in 82, and they opened for us back in 2013. So, they're family, they're great friends of ours. And Tony and Jeff from Venom Inc. I mean, I've known both those guys off and on since 82 or something. I mean, Jeff's from the same town basically as us, and Tony's half Geordie at least. When he's not speaking in London, he's half Geordie, so we'll let him off. So it's the personality wise, that's going to be awesome, and it's just a great package, and looking forward to it.
Girlschool Venom Inc. Raven, late June in Canberra, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne.
And then we're doing one by ourselves in Sydney, I believe, on the 30th of June.
All right, John Gallagher from Raven, absolutely magnificent talking to you. Thanks for sharing all your insights into your career, and looking forward to you hitting Australia in June, and thanks for talking to me.
Yep, get your tickets, come out, we're going to blow your heads off.